So welcome everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, thank you. Hi, this is Amritanand with Osho Niranjana, and we also have Viram, Deepthi. Hi Viram, hi Deepthi. Also Prapat joining us today. So yeah, looks like we had a full house registrant, and it was over 400 people. We almost had to upgrade our plan, but anyway, we could use our existing plan for this session. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So please note that we are in a webinar mode, and we are being recorded. So you'll have this recording available after the meeting if you want it. And if you have any questions for Krishna Prem or Osho Niranjana team, please use the Q&A portion to send your questions, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. And towards the end, if you want to hang out with Krishna Prem, we'll have the option to turn on your video, and we can take a Zoom group picture if you want to. So before any delay, I would like to introduce our facilitator for today, Swami Krishna Prem, also lovingly known as KP. So he's an international teacher of meditation with over 45 years of experience in leading meditation workshops in the USA, Europe, and India. He was born in America and graduated from Boston University. Upon graduation, he managed the Ship Hotel in England. From there, he traveled east in 1973, where he met Osho. He brought his passion for meditation back with him to California, where he founded Gitam Ashram, which flourished into the biggest meditation center in the West. His philosophy is based on the fact that everything in life is noise, but when you focus on meditation, the noise turns into music. So here you go, Swamiji. So lead us into turning our noises into music. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Wow, so great to be with everyone. I miss hugging you. But this is the next best thing called Zoom. But I know how many sannyasins became sannyasins because they weren't techies. So right now there's 100 people trying to figure out how they can join us. So that's really cute. So before I get into the meat of the matter, I thought I would just say that when I finally got to meet Osho in 1973, Osho noticed that I only laughed when he told a joke. And he said to me, Krishna Prem, I wake up laughing. I go to sleep laughing. I find life to be a cosmic joke because I don't take it serious. And I noticed that you only laugh if I say something funny. So since you, by accident, came first, it wasn't because you're conscious, but because you had a travel bug, please send me some jokes because you're not the first fool coming from the West. So my job was to send him jokes. And he was really bad at it because he didn't know how to tell a joke because he thought life was funny. But right in front of me, right in front of you, for 40 years, he practiced telling jokes to the point where he got great. And as he got better at telling jokes, I would send him more complicated jokes. So when he talked about meditation, I didn't know what he was talking about. When he talked about existence, I didn't know what he talked about. But when he went for his clipboard, I knew he was going to tell a joke because he didn't want to mess up the joke. He took it very sincerely, very seriously. And he would get the clipboard out and I would close my eyes because I knew what he was going to say. And it's the first complicated joke I said to Osho, and then we'll begin today's Zoom meeting. But a good Jewish boy, Abi, that was my father's name. He goes to temple every day for 30 years, and he's such a good man. He gives his wife everything she needs, his children an education, the temple, whatever he has left over. And after 30 years, he comes to temple and he says, God, I I'm a good man and I've taken care of everybody. But I realize nothing's happened for me in 30 years. So unless I find out that you're going to do something for me, unless I win the lottery, I'm no longer going to be Jewish. I'm going to be a Christian. And the whole temple just shook, got very, very crazy. And a year later, he came back, Abe came back, and he said, God, I just came to say goodbye because nothing happened. And the temple roof came off, and the clouds opened with a crack of thunder, and God's benevolent face appeared, and he said, Abe, if you want to win the lottery, please buy a lottery ticket. Meet me halfway. And for me, that's life. So what Osho has said to me all the time is, it's great if you're in the world, KP. I know you're going to do well, but you need to add meditation. So meditation in the marketplace can only happen if you buy a lottery ticket, if you participate. And here's the most important thing Osho ever said to me. He said, I'm only 1%, and America is 99%. Meditation is 1%, and the world is 99%. So, of course, the job of your society, of your education, of your parents, is to honor that 99%. Why do you need the other 1%? Why are you so greedy? And then I met Osho, and he said, I'm only 1%. And I said, wow, I'm 99%. Am I greater than you, Osho? And he said, look, that 1% is so much more valuable than that 99%. Meditation is so much more valuable than the marketplace. But he said, the truth of the matter is, if you can add me to the marketplace, that's 100%. If you can add me, who is only 1%, to what your parents taught you, which is 99%, then you're 100%. And he would always say, and you probably all of you probably remember, water does not boil until it's 100 degrees. So water doesn't boil if you only love Osho, and water doesn't boil if you only love your job. Water boils when you add meditation to the marketplace. And the reason I wanted to be with everybody today is Osho is very famous for Zorba the Buddha. And we're pretty good Zorbas. Everybody that came today is a good Zorba because you love Krishna Prem, you love his naughty newsletters, you read his horrible, terrible book, and you want to see me and you want to laugh, and that's Zorba. But we need today to add the Buddha again. And the reason I say that is Osho really said to me, and he said to you, I don't know if you heard it, but we need to make your Zorba really, really alive, really, really fun. So when you meditate, you don't fall asleep because Buddha is a little boring compared to Zorba. So he said, I'm going to really juice up your Zorba so that when you do begin to meditate, your meditation will be juicy. But what's happening now during these trying times is that our Zorba is getting beaten up. We can't go to the disco. We can't go to a football game. We can't cheat on our wives. We can't do anything, nothing. We're bored to death. And when we get bored as a Zorba, our Buddha takes a beating. So I really wanted to get together with you to say, we need to change. Maybe we need to make Buddha 99% now and the world only 1% because it's a trying time. And I wanted to suggest to you, and I love it so very much, I hate the Christian sign of infinity. You've seen it, I don't know if you can see this, but it's like a number 8 and it's on its side. And over here is meditation. And over here is the marketplace. It's separated by that little dot. So meditation, that 1% dot, the world 99%, that dot is getting tighter and tighter and tighter every moment that we're in lockdown, every moment that we're in isolation. So I'm going to tell you something that I feel is true, that we need to breathe into that dot. That dot is our ego. That dot is saying, don't give Osho any juice. You need to take care of your life right now. And Osho is getting, on the other side, his 1%, he's feeling thin. So we need to give our Buddha, we need to give Osho lots and lots of juice, lots and lots of juice. So my feeling is that dot is your ego. And you go to India, don't you love it? A lot of us have been to India, and we meet a teacher, and the first thing the teacher says is, drop your ego. And you look at him and you go, that's a pretty big egotistical statement to me. Drop your ego. That sounds like an egotistical statement. Krishna Prem came up with a feeling that if I breathe into that dot, if I breathe into my ego, my gosh, that ego gets bigger. And when that dot gets bigger, you can see that there's holes, there's space. The dot isn't so solid. So I say, breathe into that dot. Breathe, give yourself the biggest ego trip in the whole world. And the bigger the ego is, the more you can just walk through and speak with the Osho in you and speak to the marketplace in you. In other words, your ego gets, the bigger your ego gets, it drops. It just falls away because it doesn't have a job anymore. You know what I mean? Isn't that kind of fun? So I'm giving you permission now, all 400 friends that are joining me today, I'm giving you permission to have such a big ego that you can take it off. And when you take it off, you can meditate and you can be in the marketplace. And then the cosmic joke is there's no difference between meditation and the marketplace. The most important word in the whole world to me is and. So it's not meditation or the marketplace, it's meditation and the marketplace. And I know that sounds silly, and it's already getting so intellectual here. I'm already sounding pretty bright. So I want to mention to you that I just want to spend 5 minutes with you to beautiful music, just breathing. And this technique is so simple. I want you to breathe into your Buddha and breathe out into the marketplace. So you go, you say, existence, marketplace, existence, market, and you just breathe in. And when you breathe in, I want you to notice there's a moment when you begin to breathe out. And when you breathe out, there's a moment when you begin to breathe in. And between those moments is what Osho would call a gap. So for me, when you breathe in, you breathe into your human being. And when you breathe out into your human doer. So if you can watch your breath, you can destroy the separation in your life. You can be a Buddha and you can be a rock star. So just for 5 minutes, I want you to breathe in and I want you to breathe out. Look for that gap. And by the way, since we're having fun today, and you may not be a meditator, you may not even be interested in meditation, just enjoy the music. Don't take this serious. I would prefer we breathe together, but if you want to just have a cup of coffee, enjoy the music, that's also a great idea. So could you play that first piece for me by Atisha?
Andraya ye ola so ande zerna tabera jembe idai nezo jeve je oye jezendana mirjen jembanga chonde menje lala zo wande zurjen jedam shen lai jedembe nyawara jeve dovande dange jezendana torenge wazo menge jabonde lazo wande ganda yenda chamando mai abai jejin lezo dawa dai jezendana dai zemine menge jabonde lazo wande zenezeza temena wanda nyanye mejo badan rayan jenjabo rayan jabo shajen jabo nalazo de jande jade janan doje awan jajen jojen jabo shin jendebe tembo jonezo jengo yonzo dolazo ande de seba yenje malando menje layendo de ne ane genje shewa tze jonlazo amjele banzo lazo ande bode sado chizon de tezo loben jalan janjo zamba anji de lama tamba tanje jeje wanjo solazo ande de tarazo tabenjen laje nega nedanje banazo jeje zenye zanje bagenje dewa jendo jewara jenje
But it is true, you know, I just came from swimming with the dolphins at Wild Quest in the Bahamas. And the dolphins are just like us. I forget what, like human beings almost, but uh, they need to breathe like we do. So when they go fishing, when they go to feed, they have a fabulous time, but they're always watching the breath, because if they don't come up to the top of the ocean, they're going to drown. But human beings are just so excited. We are so excited that when we were created, existence said, my God, these human beings are not going to watch their breath, so I'm going to give that job to your bodies. Because if existence gave our minds the job to breathe, we would all be dead anyway. So our bodies are more intelligent than our minds, you know. And so our bodies are breathing. But when you use your mind to watch your breath, then you're actually beginning to be one with existence. And, you know, one of the things that I live with now that I've been breathing into my Buddha, and my Buddha is really practical. He always says, Krishna, you can breathe and you can be a Buddha, but please pay your rent first, you know? So Osho always insisted, pay your rent, tie up your camel, and then meditate, you know? So it's very beautiful. And So all I'm saying is, when you follow your breath, you're closer to your body, you know. And it's just very, very important. I think you can understand that. You know, and now we have Zoom and we can be together with Zoom, but in one of my past lives, I was with Krishna Ananda. He's a good friend of mine. He's now a therapist of some kind, I think, helping people with codependency. And we were priests together, and we were in a dark cave, and we were copying religious scriptures. And we were always, and it was very dark, it was before electricity, and we were always saying, God wants us to be celibate. And we copied this sentence hundreds of times because everybody had to have their own book. There was no printing presses. And then lo and behold, electricity was created. And we looked at the pages that we were copying, and it says, God wants us to celebrate. We didn't see the R. So this is who Osho is. He's not saying to be celibate. He's saying to celebrate. So for hundreds of years, I was celibate because I didn't see the R until electricity. And when I met Osho, I went the other way. I found it so hard to do anything but celebrate, you know. But again, there's a relationship between your Buddha and your Zorba, and you're going to find that out through breathing. And it's a very good idea. Now, once I met Osho, I began to celebrate to the point where, as my body got older, it's easier now to go back and be celibate. Not quite yet, maybe at the end of this talk. But right now I don't have a choice, so I might as well be celibate. But Osho would love this experiment. You know, a lot of us today are at home because we are in isolation. Why not jump into Zoom? You know, it's really fun. But Osho always would say, this is a great opportunity to meditate. We have time now to meditate. So I suggest that you dust off those CDs that you had, but you bought 23 years ago. You know, you might even have a cassette deck with a Kundalini meditation, and maybe take up some of your time meditating. You have 24 hours a day now. I know a lot of you are working at home, and I hope you're cheating a little bit while you're at home, and you can add meditation again to the marketplace. I hope you're taking an hour of your 24 hours a day that you're in isolation to do an Osho active meditation. And by the way, it has been pointed out to me that some of you know me, but you don't know Osho. This is not good. This is not good. I'm a great guy. I can share a lot with you, but my source is Osho. And if you don't mind, and I hope you'll forgive me, and I hope you don't hang up, I promise you I'm only going to do 5 minutes of Osho, the whole time, just 5 minutes. But I want you to have a taste of Osho. I am the main course tonight, but Osho is a delicious dessert. So could we play that 5 minutes of Osho? Is that okay? Please don't hang up. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Religion has very rarely existed in a healthy way. Only when a Buddha walks on the earth, or a Christ, or a Krishna, or a Kabir. Otherwise, religion has existed as a pathology, as illness, as neurosis. One who has realized religion through his own being has a totally different understanding of it. One who has been imitating others, his understanding is not understanding at all. Truth cannot be imitated. You cannot become true by becoming a carbon copy. Truth is original, and to attain to it, you have to be original too. Truth is not attained by following somebody. Truth is attained by understanding your life. Truth is not in any creed, in any argument. Truth is in the deepest core of your being, hidden as love. Truth is not logic. It is not a syllogism. It is an explosion of love. And whenever truth explodes in you, you attain to a totally different vision of life, of God, of religion. Your eyes have a different quality, a different transparency, clarity. When your mind is clouded with thoughts borrowed from others, whatsoever you call religion is not religion. It is just dreaming. And the basic difference makes an imitative person pathological. A Christian is pathological, a Hindu too. Krishna is healthy, superbly healthy. So is Christ. When Christ says something, he has known it. He is not repeating somebody else. He is not a parrot. It is his own realization. And that makes the whole difference. When you become a Christian, you repeat Christ. By and by, you become more like a shadow. You lose your being. You lose yourself. You are no more true, real, authentic. A Christian is already dead, and religion is concerned with a rebirth. Yes, it is a crucifixion too. The old has to die for the new to be born. But following a dead creed, dogma, a church, you never allow the old to die. And you never allow the new to be born. You never take the risk. You never move in danger.
So, that's Osho. And all you have to do is go to YouTube and say Osho, and you'll be inundated with wonderful material. You know, every once in a while, you just flick on an Osho instead of CNN. You know, again, CNN 99% of the time, Osho 1% of the time. You know, and that's a whole being. You know, basically, when I said we're 99% doers, today we're learning that that 1% that we're still a human being has to be breathed into, has to be celebrated. So I don't know if you know it, but you were born a human being, you know, and you loved music, and you loved rock and roll, and you loved dancing, you loved being innocent. And around 3 years old, your parents said to you, hey, guess what? Enough of this music, enough of this meditation, enough of this innocence. You need to get ready for the world. But Dad, I want to be a musician. Well, there's no money in music. I want you to be a lawyer. So you want to please him, and you spend your whole life until you're 65 years old as a lawyer. You're almost ready to die by now. You're fat, you're ugly, you're not in love. Maybe some lawyers are happy because they're rich. And at 65, you know what you do? You say to your wife, I'm going to take up music again. I'm going to be a musician. And your wife said, you deserve it. You spent all those years in the courtroom. Now you can play music again. And so all I'm saying is that you're a human being that can do something. You're not a human doer. You're a human being. So I want you today to maybe spend some time, saying, who am I? What would I really like to do? Now, I'm not saying quit your day job. I'm just saying we have a little more time now during this isolation. Maybe you're working at home, but you don't have to drive to work for an hour and a half in traffic. You have some time to meditate. You have some time to ask yourself, who am I? What would make me happy? How can I make my human being, that 1%, fat and happy and juicy and loving, and let that other 99% take care of itself, because by now you know how to be the other 90% than the other 99%. You forgot how to be yourself, but you know how to work. You forgot how to play music, but you know how to, build a toy train, You've got to ask yourself who I am. And the problem with asking yourself that question is you might get a little bit depressed because you've been going against who you are your whole life. So I just want to say this, that once you start asking yourself who you are, you actually have eternity to figure out the answer. So maybe 24 hours you're a lawyer, but there's 24 hours where you're watching yourself be a lawyer. And that's what Osho called the witness. You are watching yourself do. You're not a doer, you're a human being watching yourself do. Once you get that knack of watching, you have 48 hours in every day. God, I hope you're not bored with isolation, because I just gave you an extra 24 hours a day. So basically you have 24 hours a day to wash the dishes and take care of those kids that you never really liked and before, when you only saw them 20 minutes a day. Now you see them 24 hours a day. I think there's some problems out there with parents and children and husbands and wives, but I'm not a therapist. You can call my friend Krishnananda, who I was a priest with in a past life. He can help you out. Well, all I'm saying to you is this, that if you begin to meditate, you have 24 extra hours a day. And once you become a great meditator and a great market player, then there's no such thing as time. Time disappears when you can be a human being that can do something and be happy. Misery takes up 24 hours a day. Ecstasy takes up no time at all. In fact, one of the reasons we don't want to be happy is because when we're happy, time disappears. When we're miserable, death is very far away, very far away, because that 24 hours of misery takes so long. It feels like maybe 6 or 7 years every day of your life, So you have to watch out. If you get happy and time disappears, all of a sudden, you may die. And Osho said, and I agree with him, that death is okay if you had a great life. If you've been miserable, death is going to be a shit. You're going to be pissed off when you die. If you've had a great life and you paid attention to who you are, and you've had a little music and a little love in your life, then you're going to say, what's next? I'm ready for what is next. I'm going to change my clothes and I'm going to be brand new again. So all I'm saying is what Osho said, celebrate. Celebrate. That's the only difference between Osho and your priest. The only difference between Osho and my president, Donald Trump, because Osho is saying, celebrate, celebrate. And, actually the difference isn't that big, so don't take my word on it. If you would like to be miserable, you'll have more time in your hands than I do, because I'm celebrating, and sometimes days come and go like a moment, So here's something a little bit shocking, that existence is crazy about you, How many of you thought of that? How many of you said, existence is a better place because I am alive, Most of us feel we're not worthy. How could existence be crazy about me when I'm not even crazy about myself, And basically, I know you might think that because I've thought it for hundreds of lifetimes, So I'm not putting down misery. I'm just saying it's not as great as you think it is. I'm not so attached to misery any longer. So I know now that existence is crazy about me, Even if I'm not a vegan, it just loves me to death. And when the existence loves me to death, I'm not as hungry. So, I'm not as greedy. I'm not as selfish. I'm more like love, So I know, oh gosh, I hate to do it, but we're going to have to breathe again. And all I want you to do is breathe into your no self. Breathe into Jesus. Breathe into Osho, whoever you want to breathe into. Just call it existence. You breathe into existence and you breathe out your name. This is a present from my brother, Dr. Brian Allman, who's here with us tonight as a participant, because if he was in the same room as me, he would be doing all the talking. He thinks he's great. He's a great guy, and I'm going to let you know about it when I write to you. But basically, he taught me this technique, and I just love it. So we're just going to listen to 5 minutes of music. You can just enjoy the music, or you can breathe in Osho, breathe out your name. Breathe in Jesus, breathe out your name. Breathe in existence, breathe out your name. Just so you'll know, I just want you to start getting in touch with that existence wouldn't be here without you, or at least it wouldn't be celebrating as much without you. I know it's hard to believe because we don't love ourselves enough, but we're breathing into our no self, our Osho, our existence, and we're breathing into our personality, and we're destroying the separation. We're becoming joyous life. Can you play that little music for me? Just 5 minutes. I'm coming back. Don't leave.
Oren
So here I am again. Is that true? Okay, so my gosh, so isn't it nice to feel existence is crazy about us too? When we see a rose and we say thank you, that the rose is actually saying thank you back to us. You know, it's a oneness. Life is a oneness. We are existence appearing as 400 friends. You know, there's no such thing as separation. You know, and you know, it's very important. Like when I met Osho, he held up two fingers and he'd say, you know, this is Osho, this is me, and then he'd say, and this is Krishna Prem. You know, I couldn't believe it. You know, I didn't know if he was insulting me or not. And he said, no, what he's trying to say is, you know, you're talking to me from your fingertips. You know, you're boring me to death. You're telling me your name was Michael Mogul and you're from Boston and you went to law school, all this bullshit, just stuff that's just unimportant. And he would say, when you meet a master, when he asks you who you are, you don't say you're Michael Mogul and now you're Krishna Prem and your mother's from Boston. You go all the way back into who you are, all the way back into intimacy. Because what is intimacy? Intimacy, it's trusting. It's trusting existence, you know? And when you go back all the way into who you are, into not knowing, you know, into not knowing, you know, and feeling good about it and feeling intimate and saying thank you. Then you come up and you say, hello, Osho. So don't say you love me from out here. Don't tell your wife you love her from out here. Go back into who you are and say, I love you. That's what namaste means. I love the existence in you, you know? So I want you to give that a try, you know? Watch for who you are instead of who you've been taught to be. You need to destroy your education. You need to destroy your politicians, you need to destroy your religion. Once you do that, you can come back and, you know, say to your parents, thank you for making love. I'm so glad I exist. And you can say to Buddha, over here, I killed you over here. I love you because I've dropped my attachment to Buddha. I've dropped my attachment to myself. Out of my innocence, I'd like to take a walk with you, you know, and that can be so very, very beautiful, you know. And in order to prove that to you, you have to sign up for a $6,000 weekly course with me. Very good course. I guarantee enlightenment. If you send me $6,000 a week for the next year, I promise you'll be enlightened, or you can talk to my attorney. It's your choice. But the other thing Osho would say, I can't prove it to you, but I can help you go crazy. I can help you go bananas. You just listened to this asshole, Krishna Prem, for 50 minutes. You just wasted 50 minutes of your life trying to figure out, does he know something I don't know? You know? Can you imagine? But I don't know anything you don't know because we are one. We are both part of existence. But what I've learned to do is trust madness. I've learned to trust that 1%. I've learned to not be intelligent, but to just be full of gibberish. So Osho would say, even after you listen to me for 50 minutes, please go a little crazy. And he said, just 2 or 3 minutes a day, I want you just to talk madness. Blah, 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 blah. Now, everybody listening to me now is in their own room, you know. And by the way, we're going to do this meditation, and then I'm going to stick around because a lot of you would like to talk to me, or you might have something you want to say. We're not ending this until, you know, until we want to. But right now, we need to go a little bit bananas. So what is gibberish? What is gibberish? So gibberish is the next time you're at work and your boss pushes your buttons, instead of quitting, you say, thank you, I didn't know that button was there. And you go into the bathroom and you flush the toilet so no one can hear you, and you look in the mirror and you go, blah, 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 blah. You just talk madness. You get rid of your boss. And when you see him again, say, thank you, I didn't even know I had that button in me, you know? Or the next time you're driving in LA and there's a traffic jam and someone cuts you off, instead of shooting them with the gun in your glove compartment, you say, thank you, I didn't know I was that upset. And you blah, 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 blah. So anytime, and you from now on, for the next 200 lifetimes, you're going to be so happy when someone pisses you off, because now you're going to have a chance to let go, to speak gibberish, just for 2 minutes. Now, the way we do this in India, and the way Osho prefers it, what we do is, Osho would say, in order to go from Krishna Prem to gibberish, I would like to tell you a joke, you know, because he says laughter helps clean out the cobwebs. Now, the joke that you're about to hear is very funny. And how do I know that? Because I wrote this joke down for him, and I sent it to him. And when he spoke, there were 10,000 people at the time in Pune, and we screamed with laughter. And then afterwards, we would just do gibberish. Now, we can do gibberish along with Osho. Now, do it out loud. Nobody, everybody's in their own room, in their own home, in their own box. You're not going to do this for hours. If your neighbor calls the police, we'll be finished in the gibberish within 2 minutes. And when the police knock on your door and they say, what are you doing? You could say, thank you for pushing my button. I feel so good. I have another reason to do gibberish. So really, I want you to, Osho's going to tell a fabulous joke. You're going to laugh, I hope, because I told him this joke. Then we're just going to go mad for only 2 minutes. And then Osho is going to speak to us. And this is the beauty. When you go crazy for Osho, when you go crazy for existence, it's the first time that existence can talk nice to you, you know? When I met Osho and he said, who are you? And I said, I'm Michael Mogul from Boston. He literally fell asleep. The last time when I was with him, he said, who are you? I said, who the fuck knows Osho? Why do you ask a stupid question like that? He said, great. You know, you're at least beginning your journey now after 45 years of being with me. So a joke, a little bit of madness, a little bit of Osho, and then I'm sticking around for questions. You know, we're not going anywhere. Is that? And by the way, if you don't like it, who cares? It doesn't make a difference. You have total permission now to go make yourself a cup of coffee or anything, but I would at least listen to the joke. If you like the joke, I would at least do a couple of minutes of madness with me. And if you like that, I would listen to Osho say, for the first time you've ever heard it from a teacher, you are a Buddha. I love you. Thank you for being here. You made my life even richer. Okay, can we do that? Hope you like the joke.
Newton Houghton drops into the Lucky Luke saloon one evening and orders a triple martini. What a coincidence, says Max, the bartender. Just an hour ago, I was saying that nobody ever orders a triple martini anymore. As Max is mixing the drink, both he and Newton look up as Lucy Legs rushes in and asks for a triple martini. Newton and Max both look at each other in amazement. "Hey lady," cries Max, "that is incredible. The gentleman here just ordered a triple martini. And we were just discussing how nobody ever orders that drink these days. This is really a coincidence." "Well," says Lucy, "I am celebrating a very special occasion. My husband and I have been married for 9 years, and we have always wanted a child. Just today, I have learned that I am pregnant." The two men congratulate Lucy and then Newton says, "Well, that is a coincidence because I am also celebrating a very special occasion. I have been breeding exotic chickens for years and I have been trying to produce a purple spotted hen, and just today I found out that I have been successful." "What a coincidence," says Lucy. "How did you manage it?" "Well," replies Newton, "I just changed cocks." "What?" cries Lucy. "That really is a coincidence. Me too." Be silent. Close your eyes and feel your body to be completely frozen. This is the right moment to turn in. Gather your whole energy and rush towards your center of being. with your total consciousness and with an urgency as if this is going to be your last moment of life on the earth. This urgency is absolutely needed to reach to the center. Faster and faster, deeper and deeper. As you start coming closer to your center, a great silence descends over you like soft rain. It is so tangible, you can feel it. As you come even more closer, a great peace arises from your very sources, surrounding you into great fragrance of the beyond. Just a little more, and you are on the center, facing your original face. Your original face is the face of the Buddha, the awakened one. At this moment you are the Buddha. I teach the Buddha, I don't teach Buddhism. The only quality Buddha has is witnessing. He is a pure witness. No judgment, no identification, just watching without having any opinion. Witness, you are not the body. Witness, you are not the mind. And witness, you are only the witness. And as you relax into witnessing, a great ecstasy, a great divine drunkenness overtakes you. You suddenly become aware of your immortality, of your eternal life. To make this witnessing deeper, Nivedana, relax, let go. But go on remembering you are a Buddha, a pure witness. And as your witnessing goes on becoming deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, you start melting like ice in the ocean. I can see it. Gautam the Buddha auditorium is turning into an ocean of consciousness. 10,000 Buddhas have melted into one ocean. A pure ocean of consciousness without any ripples or waves. At this moment, You are the most blessed people on the earth. Just because you are centered at your very ultimate nature. The Buddha is your Dhamma. He is your very nature. The evening was beautiful on its own, but your totality, your intensity, your urgency, your honesty has made it a great splendor. The whole existence surrounding you is celebrating your great victory. There is no other victory greater than this. To become a Buddha is the most important, the most significant, the only meaningful act in your whole life. Gather as much experience and as many juices of life and the blossoms and the flowers and the fragrances, the peace, the silence, the serenity, the divine drunkenness, the ecstasy. Collect all of them. You have to bring them to your life. Your life has to become a life of songs, a life of dances, a life of eternal music, a life of divine ecstasy. This is the transformation which Zen fire and Zen wind brings to you. And never forget to persuade the Buddha to come along with you. He is coming every day closer and closer and closer. You will feel his presence just behind you, coming, following like a shadow. This is the first step of meditation. Buddha coming behind you as a shadow. But the shadow is very solid, very tangible. You can touch it, you can feel it. You can have a tremendous fragrance arising from it. The second step, you become the shadow and Buddha comes ahead of you, in front of you. The third step, your shadow disappears into the transparent awareness, awakening, enlightenment of the Buddha. You are no more, only the Buddha is. You are no more, only the existence is. This is the ultimate revolution, the ultimate evolution, the ultimate truth, beauty, godliness. Nivedana, come back, but come as Buddhas. with the same grace, the same beauty, the same joy, the same ecstasy. Sit down just for a few seconds to remember and to remind yourself where you have been, to what depth, to what height you have reached, to what opening of space you have experienced. And see that the fragrance of the innermost has come with you, surrounding your being. And watch, feel, the Buddha is standing behind you. He is your very nature. He is your blissfulness. He is your benediction. And the day is not far away when you will take the second step and become the shadow of the Buddha. And once you become the shadow of the Buddha, the third step becomes very easy. The shadow can disappear into the Buddha without any trouble. When only the Buddha is left alone, you have come home.
So what we learned today, very, very simple. During these coronavirus days, we're really in our heads. And with the breathing, we can move down into our hearts. But don't stop there. You need to go back into who you are, into your hara. So when we breathe in, we're acknowledging this is a difficult time, but we can love still. And when you move into who you are, then when you breathe out, this is who Osho is. So when you breathe in, this is who you are. The head is upset, the heart is troubled, but I've taken the time to meditate, now I'm in my belly. And when you breathe out, this is Osho. You're in your belly, you breathe up into your heart. And then when that energy moves into the mind, you can either make love or you can meditate. So Osho was saying, yes, breathing is important. It's the marketplace. It's how you pay your rent. It's how you take care of your family. It's how you take care of yourself. Breathing in is fine. But once you've taken care of that and you remember that you're a human being, you begin to breathe out. And then you breathe out through the heart. And that's pure because the belly, your hara, does not have a personality. It just has the truth. And you breathe into your heart and you explode in love. And then when it reaches the third eye, you can either make love, share love, or you can meditate. So meditation and love are two legs of the truth, you know. And once you can do both, you're a whole human being. So yes, take care of your life, but always remember that you're a meditator too. You take your 99%, which is paying your rent and taking care of your daily life, and you add that 1%, which is meditation, and then you're a whole human being. And it's not easy. So when you bump into the wall, you say, what would Krishna Prem do now? He would ask me to join him in gibberish for just 2 to 3 minutes a day. So breathing, and if you're not taking care of your bills and you're not in love, you know, and you're in love with your family, but you're not meditating, that's when you do gibberish for 2 to 3 minutes, clear out the cobwebs. It is so easy. to celebrate. But you need to breathe in and you need to breathe out. You need to be in the marketplace and you need to be with the master. The master can be you, can be Osho. It doesn't make a difference. Time to celebrate. Favorite musician, Miller Raper? Is it okay? Just 4-minute piece from Miller. We lived together for many years until we discovered women. He also comes to Nepal. It's great. Enjoy Miller. Great. We take a break and maybe we do it again in a month or two and make sure you guys are doing that gibberish. I'm going to make you do it every time we meet. And until you say, Krishna, I was breathing in and I was breathing out, and there's no need for me to be mad anymore.
Yeah.